Vanakkam ellarku, Namaskaram and Sat Sri Akal. 2020 has been such a crazy year with so many unprecedented turn of events. We had the bushfires and then the pandemic and then followed the recession. In this unpredictable state that we are in, there are a group of people in the community who've been spreading joy, happiness and positivity throughout their work. Their concept of feeding the hungry and being there for us has set an amazing example for us as a generation. History will remember these people who have gone above and beyond to service the community. Sikh Volunteers Australia represents such values by giving it back to the community. Be it the bushfires or the pandemic, they've been there serving food, delivering food to those of the distressed people, spreading smiles across. Today we are proud to having them on the channel. We have with us Mr. Jaswinder Singh joining us to tell us more on how they are being undertaking this divine cause. This interview is aimed to inspire people like me and you to take part in this journey of life. Let's get it watching. Hello viewers, welcome to the show today. Jaswinder, thank you so much for joining us. We know that you're on a very tight schedule feeding people throughout the day, but you still made time to see us today and give us your important views. Thank you so much for coming to today's Q&A session.
Thank you, Vamshi, and thanks to viewers.
So before we begin, we want to know how you started this giant mission of feeding people. We know that we could see your food vans on during the bushfires, during the pandemic. You've been helping a lot of people in need with food and groceries. So we wanted to know, how did you start this giant mission of feeding people? How did the thought originate?
So before we come on to the feeding people mission, we called it the free food van service. I would like to explain a little bit about the organization itself. So this organization, Sikh Volunteers Australia, it has started in 2014 by a group of friends, just with the pure aim to give back something to the community we are living in. And since from 2014 to 2017, we guys are doing just the volunteer services with the different councils, different organizations. We lend them a hand in doing their job, all the non-profit organizations at that time. And in March 2017, the mission you have described as feeding people, we called it the free food van service. In March 2017, we started this service and inaugurated in Lanebrook Community Center. And since from then, we are running this free food van twice a week on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And we serve in Tooradin, Frankston. Previously, it was Dandenong as well, but later on it was being dropped, that area. Dandenong has been dropped, but now it's only Tooradin and Frankston. And apart from this free food van service twice a week, we also, as you mentioned, we also lend a hand in disaster situation wherever it happens. Like in 2019, early 2019, we have a fire broke out in Bunyip during the summers. So we were there. This year, in late 2019, early 2020, there is a major fire breakout in South Gippsland area. So we were there, East Gippsland area basically. So we were there nearly for 16 days. And now when this COVID situation comes up, we are doing this from last 58 days, and nearly 60,000 meals have already been served. So this is just a brief about how it all started and how it is going.
That's so interesting to know about, that you've been operating for so long and serving this community. On a daily basis, how do you carry out your activities?
So it's actually a bit of teamwork, not just a bit of, it's entirely completely teamwork. So the team is divided into three sections. One is the purchasing team. They go for the purchasing for all the essentials which are required, including groceries, food containers, and everything. The second team is actually the cooking team, which actually cooks the food. And the third one is a distribution team. So behind the scenes, this whole episode, especially I will talk about this COVID-19 situation now. What happens is that people contact us and they request for the food through our web pages, through the software we have provided, and the requests are being put up into our system. Then we have a software which tells us that how many meals we need for the day. Based on that, the purchasing team do the purchasing, and then the cooking team start cooking at around 1 or 1:30 in the afternoon, and by 4:30 the cooking is finished, and then the distribution teams uh, complete the distributions by 6 p.m. every day. So it is, yes, it is a very committed role. It is a tiring thing, and it requires a team effort. So the whole team works together and make it possible.
I'm sure. It's you're carrying out such a giant task of feeding so many people. So on an average, how many people are fed during a normal day, and in totality, how many people have been fed so far? If you can brief us
When
about.
this yeah, when this situation had started, for the first week I remember the demand was nearly 300 meals to 500 meals a day, but there was a time when we are cooking around 900 to 1100 meals a day, but that was a peak time. And now, because the restrictions are over and people are going back again on the jobs and they can go out for the groceries shopping and everything, now it's been again reduced to 350 to 400. But 350 to 400 is also a big number. So yeah, that's how it is going on. But on an average, when we are not in a um, disastrous or pandemic situation, and we are just doing our free food van, which is runs, which are only twice a week, we are serving around 150 to 180 meals on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So altogether, there are 300 meals a week.
That's again a huge number. So in order to meet that number, I'm pretty sure that you would face challenges every day to carry out your tasks. Can you also brief us about what challenges you face every day and how do you overcome them?
The major challenge is always because this is a volunteer work, and everyone who do the service is actually doing the volunteer bit. No one is being paid. So the major challenge is to arrange the volunteers. With the support of community and with the God grace, now we have almost 125 registered volunteers with us, and every time there is someone available who can do the job. But again, this is the major part we have to look for, that arrange the volunteers, make sure the cooking is on the time, make sure that whoever the volunteer is on board, they know the safety measures, they know the food handling, they know how to serve, and above all, they follow the principles of being honest and just with everyone. And that is the main thing we need to keep on looking. And apart from that, the operations are pretty much similar to any other kitchen.
Absolutely. I think someone who chooses to be a volunteer with you, expecting nothing in return but genuine service to the community, that thought
Yes,
itself is so inspiring. A lot of
exactly.
inspiration that volunteers are spreading in the community. So we did hear about the community kitchen that was recently inaugurated, and congratulations on that. We want to know a bit more information on how that started and what we can expect from the community kitchen and what's going on with operations.
So, as I mentioned that in 2017, this free food van service has been inaugurated at Linbrook Community Center. Um, since from that time till now, we have our own kitchen. Between this whole period, nearly for 3 years, we are renting on the community kitchens at different places because we don't have our own professional kitchen. So we paid a lot of rent, and in 2000 late 18 we decided that okay, if we want to continue this service and if we want to um, enhance the area of our service and enhance the scope of the project, have to have our own uh, community kitchen or a professional kitchen. So for that, we started looking for the funding, where we can get the fund from the different government options. And luckily, we got a couple of grants from the government of Victoria. They gave us a very big support in that. And with using that support, we had constructed this kitchen, which is being inaugurated on 31st of May, 2020. Um, the community is playing a big part in that, in the funding. Means apart from the grants, the major part of the funding is come from the community and from the volunteers themselves. but yes, we got the support, and now on this 31st of May 2020, we have inaugurated that full blown up kitchen. Maybe your viewers will also like to know that last year on 19th of October 2019, when we had celebrated 350th Guru Nanak Dev Ji birthday, the founder of Sikhism at Punjal Palace, Sikh Volunteer of Australia had announced that in 2020, means in 2019, we announced that in 2020 we will start 24/7 free food service, which will be in a limited area first, and gradually it will be widespread to the other areas. So this inauguration of the kitchen is actually one step closer to that announcement. So very soon we are going to come into full blown up mode of 24/7 free food supply kitchen, and then we try to enhance the area of the service.
That sounds like a great plan. Um, when you
A
said that,
great plan, but with a great commitment.
absolutely, no doubt about that. Well,
Yeah.
the most common challenge that anyone can think of is because this is a volunteer-led organization with no funding whatsoever from any corporation or any individual. How does this work when it comes to the monetary funding at the end of the day? How do you carry out your operations? How do you get your funding?
So again, Vamsi, I have to explain this question a little bit. So in the early days, when in 2014 the organization started, it was completely fully funded, self-funded organization. All the volunteers contribute a little bit as part of the this month, and we keep on rolling. And in till 2018, 2018 is the first time we got I think a $1,500 grant from KCC Tech Council, and even till now, I will say 50 to 55% of our funding comes from the community, and remaining 40 to 45% of the funding comes from the different grant programs. And all together, we merge it up. We plan ahead that what are our expenses, how much funds we have available, and where is the best place to put those funds in, so that we can keep on going the service with the service. And I must say that during that bushfire period, and now in this COVID-19 period, the way the all over the community, the broader community, Sikh community, and everyone else had supported this noble cause is like a great example and excitement for us as well. Means it's overwhelming response from everywhere.
I'm sure of that. Jaswinder, such an inspiring story, and it would, of course, be getting all the help and support from the universe. Anything that can make it happen, the universe will make it happen. And adding on to that, how do we as a community can help to support your giant mission? Could it be in terms of volunteering or donations? How do we take this step forward?
So once in the yeah, as I mentioned earlier, that the main biggest challenge was always to arrange the volunteers. So yes, if someone wants to volunteer with us, we definitely would like it, and we want more and more volunteers on the board, so that we never really short of those volunteers on the services. And apart from that, um, there are two things here. When a volunteer comes, maybe they came with a skill set, maybe we need to get them trained, so we arrange for that training as well. So definitely if someone if wants to volunteer with us, we always welcome them. And yes, the second part is the donations. The donations is what keep us rolling, because um, providing an effective and efficient service requires funds. So yes, we always need in funds as well. So if someone can help us with anything, yeah, we welcome it.
That's so great to hear. And because you've been helping the victims from bushfire as well as during the pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs and a lot of people are challenged for their daily needs with food and groceries. You've been helping them out. Do you have any story to share with us of anyone who needed real help and you were angels to them?
Um, truthfully speaking, Vamsi, during the bushfire and now this COVID-19 situation, we had come across a variety of the stories. Some of them are really heart touching. And when we get to know that we are, with the God grace, God put us in a place where we can help um, people who are in such a terrible situation, it is kind of um, smoothness and overwhelmingness, and at the same time we always thankful that, oh God, you have give us this opportunity to serve the people like this. We come across a variety of stories in this COVID-19 situation. I will say in the major four categories where we serve the people are elderly peoples, single moms, and the people who went into the isolation because of variety of reasons, and the people who lost their jobs. And couple of times it happens. Even I will say that 2 weeks back we sent out a survey to the people, that because government has now announced that restrictions are being lifted off and people can go out, we send out a survey to the people who are taking the benefit of the service, that how long you want us to continue this home delivery service. And even then we come to know that there are still a lot of people out who didn't have jobs. um, Maybe they have the jobs, but their hours are so cut down that they need whatever the funds they have available elsewhere to pay the rents and stuff. um, there are single moms out there, single parents out there, who didn't even have proper means to go out to purchase the groceries. So in all this situation, we realize that the service we are providing at this stage with the help of the community to the members of the community is very vital and very necessary.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure of that. And if we come across anybody in the community who needs your help, how do we have them to get in touch with you?
So either you can contact us directly on our Facebook page, or we have dedicated numbers available on our Facebook page. You can call them, or there are forms. If someone have access to internet, then there are forms on our web page. One can go down there and fill it up and tell us that they need the food for this much period, and this many meals they need it every day, and we try our best to provide them.
Sure. Do you also carry out your operations outside of Victoria?
At the moment, no. We are only not even in. We are not even covering the whole of Victoria. We are only just in the southeast of Melbourne. But the future plans are to expand the service first in all over the state, and later on we have next state already decided that where we want to enhance the operations, and very soon we will start that as well.
Sure. That was going to be my next question about your future plans and how you're going to take this mission to a higher cause.
So at the moment, all of these things are under consideration with the CFT of the organization. As I said, that all the services which are being provided requires a considerable amount of volunteers and considerable amounts of funds to generate the infrastructure, and then that such infrastructure is required and needed to give the service out. So all these things are already with the CFT, and we are deciding that what we can do with the best possible resources we have available with us. But I can tell certainly that once in next 5 years, you will see that Sikh Volunteers Australia will be all over the Australia, and we will try our best with our best efforts to cover most of the demands which will be sent to us through our resources.
That is such an honorable commitment that you're making today. Thanks a lot for that, Jaswinder. From the community's part, what we would assure you is that we will do everything that's possible in our hands to help you push this giant mission and solve the problems around the world. Before I let you go, Jaswinder, I would also want to ask you if you have any message that you want to share for our viewers today. How can they be inspired to serve the community like how your organization is doing so far?
Vamsi, both during the bushfire incidents and during this COVID-19 situation, we have observed that the community which stays together and which thinks about all the members of the community uh, come up from any situation very quickly and very easily. So the only message I want to give to all of the people who are listening to this interview is that whenever we are in a situation of trouble, we must think about the other people's, not just about what ourselves. If I have a full bread, I will say at least share quarter of that bread with someone who didn't have any. If we do like this, it will give us a satisfaction. It will feed up someone else as well, and all together we will come up from the situation together. If we just think about ourselves, we being selfish, then it will give no one any benefit. So whenever we are in a situation, whatever, wherever you are living, wherever you are doing your work, just think about the other people's as well. Try to be helpful. Try to think at that what should be the condition if you are in the other people's shoes, and just be helpful with them.
Such a simple but a strong message that you're passing for the community to share a piece of bread and to be less selfish and think more about others around. That's such a strong message. And there was one more question that I had just been there. What are the most common food items on the menu for the people?
Vamsi, because we serve only vegetarian foods, because of the two main reasons: the preparation and distribution of the vegetarian food is less complicated than the non-vegetarian food. And also the vegetarian, because being a Sikh, we prefer vegetarian food. So all the items on our menu are mostly the vegetarians. So we serve pastas, we serve curry, we serve stuffed potato breads, we serve pizzas, vegetarian pizzas. We serve, some type of soups like pumpkin soups and stuff. So they keep on rotating. At the moment, we have around 18 to 19 different varieties of the dishes on our menu, which keep on rotating based on the resources and the groceries available with us.
Sure. Perhaps if we get more South Indian volunteers, we can have some more South Indian food items included in the menu as well.
Definitely, idlis and dosas will be the next one.
That's the hope. Thank you so much, Jaswinder. I can't be more thankful for you. You've made your valuable time to give us your inputs and inspire a lot of us watching this video. And hopefully, this video will reach out to more and more people and drive more volunteers and drive more funds coming in to help you take this cause to a higher level.
Thank you, Vamsi, and thanks to for the viewers as well who are watching this interview and will help us in future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jaswinder. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
Sat Sri Akal.
That's it.